music to my ears. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Majora T, here today to talk about the Hog, the game, the legend, Sega's very own Sonic the Hedgehog for the Sega Genesis. For youngsters such as myself, who missed out on the late great 16-bit era, it's with great pleasure that I go back today and discover gemstones of the past that were previously objects of foreign curiosity and little beknownst to me. Even without much experience with the 16-bit era, a name like Sonic the Hedgehog should come across as more than memorable, as his character and games were designed to compete with Nintendo's all-star powerhouse, recognized worldwide as Mario. Resultingly, Sonic's first few games truly stand out from the crowd as highly impressive and enjoyable due to their intricate development. In my opinion, those interested in the series with little to no experience with it would do best to begin with the first entry. Although many people will testify that Sonic 2 is the better game, the first Sonic game succeeds on many fronts, coming across as a highly enjoyable and original experience that boasts many a uniqueness. For starters, the game contains many trademarks, most notable of which is its signature style. This is accomplished in multiple fashions, including professional, crisp, 16-bit music, characteristic of the Sega Genesis, and also giving a good character to the Sonic game. Vast open levels that can be explored indefinitely and only to be enjoyed by the most Sonic of Hedgehog players. A rhythmic movement flow that makes navigating the challenging, varying platforms a much smoother and accomplishable experience, and a unique subtext to the plot and characters not restricted to the oh-so-typical damsel in distress motif of popular action platformers before and after. This overall conceptual uniqueness sets Sonic the Hedgehog apart from not only titles before it, but many titles of recent decades that tend to recycle the same overused and dry angles shoved in our faces. Titles like those really showcase the lack of creativity on behalf of big budget game companies. With a title like Sonic the Hedgehog, you know that you're really going into a unique experience. For instance, you're playing as a hedgehog, and you're taking down a giant Eggman. So you get the themes of good and evil wrapped in animal versus mankind. So you see what's natural versus what's evil and robotic, aka Mr. Robotnik. On top of that, many of the game's characteristics feel like a statement to the infamous Mario Bros. Title before it. Whereas in Mario Bros. For the NES, one's goal upon finishing a level is to jump to the top of the flagpole for a 1-up and a higher score. In Sonic 1, the player must collect and preserve at least 50 rings per stage for the chance to jump through a huge ring and get to a bonus round, where they can earn an extra life, a continue, and a Chaos Emerald in hopes of seeing the game's true ending. While the game is actually quite fun, regardless of whether you get the true ending or not, being able to have that goal of seeing the true ending gives the game a lot of replay value. While the testament to its competitor certainly speaks numbers about its greatness, it also serves as a vital portion of the game for advancing toward completion and hopes of unlocking the game's true ending. In that respect, it's much different from the Mario Bros. Game and adds a completely different approach to gameplay. While Sonic 2 sports bonus stages as well, in a different fashion, where you still have the opportunity to collect a Chaos Emerald, they don't feel as significant or as necessary as they do in the first game, since you can earn continues simply by completing the level with a score of 10,000 or more. Actually, I think that because the bonus stages are so vital to the game, they make it a much more balanced experience than its sequel. Also, I think that the levels in general are much more balanced overall, put together in a logical order. While we're on the topic of balance, I think that's a theme to this game, whereas Sonic 2 tends to focus more on the speed allotted to the player. In general, the stages are set up in the first Sonic game so that the player needs to be conscious of precision platforming and to really balance how fast they're going. Whereas in Sonic 2, the stages are set up to have the player go really fast and use that to their advantage in completing the game. Now, everyone will have their preferences, but I think fans of platformers will definitely appreciate the amount of balance required to complete the game. Also, in the bonus stages in the first game, there's a greater emphasis on balancing as the stage tilts. It's not even much of a stage so much as it is an entrapment that constantly rotates, and you need to be completely conscious of it if you want to collect as many rings as possible and collect a Chaos Emerald. It's no easy task, and definitely one that requires a lot of concentration. Actually, I think that's one of the game's high points, is that it requires that high degree of concentration. Therefore, I get less frustrated when I play it, whereas in Sonic 2, I get frustrated easily because I just want to go fast the whole time, just because of how the game is set up. However, each game is certainly great in its own right, and no Sega Genesis collection is complete without either of the two. I could go on indefinitely about how satisfying and great the first game is, but there's not much else I have to say that players just can't experience for themselves. Although somewhat frustrating for those that haven't had a chance to memorize tricks and patterns to different structures in each level, those with a moderate amount of interest, perseverance, and enough time to explore and enjoy the game should find themselves advancing through it and mastering the game in no time at all. Although the game is readily available on many different platforms, I'm going to have to recommend the Genesis version above all others, simply because the experience of playing the game with the original Genesis controller in hand is simply irreplicable. Sonic the Hedgehog certainly set and continues to set a high standard, not just for action platformers, but for all video games, showing that developers should care about every facet that goes into their games and how the end product turns out. What potentially began as a statement to Nintendo holds true to this day as a statement to all people and companies alike that appreciate and cherish the quality of their work. The fact that it remains such an enjoyable and noteworthy title 23 years after its production and release is truly remarkable, and helps me to reshape my vision and idea of just what a classic is. To those that haven't tried it, I highly recommend giving the original Sonic the Hedgehog a try, because it definitely has a lot of character that's missing in a lot of games today. And so I thank you all for bearing with me on this most memorable of occasions, and I hope that you enjoyed my review. If you have any thoughts on the first Sonic game, and the series for that matter, be sure to let me know, as it's definitely a game I enjoy talking about. So, thank you all for your time. I look forward to seeing you here next time, and till then, stay Sonic. Peace and aloha.
Chill.